I'm growing clover as a cover crop and to help put nitrogen back in the soil in the new orchard. And I let it grow to help shade out the grasses and stuff. I don't keep it mowed real short because then the clover would stop growing and the grasses would grow more. So the clover's doing its job. I'll keep reseeding it. Let's go to the what was once the lower orchard. Now I'll get out and walk now. Looks like I'm getting some shizukas falling. They're getting a little pink. They're not ripe yet. They should be yellow instead of green. But let's try one. A little chewy yet. A little chewy. I hope that limb doesn't break. That thing is really loaded. And these are going to be big apples. Don't know why these falling. Maybe hit by the lawnmower. No, the branches may be hit by the lawnmower and some of them were knocked off. But I'm going to take a couple of these with me. Yeah, the spur was broken, which my son probably knocked it off with a lawnmower. I'll pick a few more of these up. They're still good for pie. They may be a little unripe yet, but they're a sweet apple, so they're still fairly sweet. And for pie, they'll work good. Here is the Honeycrisp tree, and what I could thin, I was able to reach. Now I can reach more because they're down lower. Get these small ones out of here. Let them get bigger. And the other side of the tree is even heavier. We have this stick propping up the central leader, propping up the central leader. And the whole tree I need to prop this little limb up too. Although it's a good crotch angle, so it'll probably survive. This is the tree that we lost, the main trunk. The other apples, the rest of the apples are reddening up fast though. We have a few on the wealthy tree. Let me get on this side so I can see it. So there's a few on the wealthy tree and they're getting red fast. They'll get about 90% red if they get the sunlight. This tree was, if you look in my old videos, this tree was grafted at about 5.5 feet tall. 3 different limbs. And because the tree here was a red delicious and I didn't want it, so I grafted it over. This I think is a sweet 16 here. Probably never have an apple because it's shaded so much. I pruned this tree back quite a bit, removing a lot of lower limbs because it kept touching the ground. Still is, but it grew top. If you cut off limbs, cut severely on a tree, it's going to put out fruiting vegetation, leaf vegetation. So it's growing taller, a little bit taller. And my golden russet. Oh, here's my spike. Here's my scarlet surprise. Let's try one of these. These have to be picked soon. There we go. Oh, that's not half bad. Normally they're a little bit tart. That's really good. Yeah. having my lunch. That's got a pleasant taste to it. Very sweet, breaking, not chewy at all. They drop though when they start getting ripe, and I lose a lot. The birds get them. Chipmunks, everything. Golden russet is kind of loaded this year. I didn't thin it much because I couldn't reach it. And now I can reach it. The apples are kind of small. I have quite a bit of russeting this year because we had some frost. We have a John of Gold tree over here. And it's getting some size on it. We had a good year for rain. So if the apples are small, it's not because of rain or lack of. So here in the orchard, in the lower orchard, we're doing pretty good. I mean, the apples are ripening up fast. I got some size on them. Since it's fenced in, we haven't had the deer hurting the trees this year. Last 2 years, I had the fence down, and they were pruned by the deer. But the cabin orchard, no fence out there. The deer have been eating the bottoms of the trees, and the coons and possums have been climbing and eating all the other apples and knocking them down. So it's not a complete loss like last year, but I'd say probably 80%, 70% has been picked. So I'm putting in a fence next year in the cabin orchard. That's what's going to happen, and I'll open it up in October and let the deer in. They can pick some apples, I'll pick some deer. Let's go over to the north orchard now. Well, I'm going to pick up some of the apples that are falling off the Dayton. The Dayton tree, sometimes I call it my show tree because it just gets really, really dark red. Really dark red. Like that. And let me see if I can shine it up on my shirt here a little bit. And it gets bright. Bright, shiny. This thing might be ready to pick right now. Usually not till September, mid-September, mid to late September. But boy, they look like they're getting really dark. And they're starting to fall. They do fall a little bit. I'm going to pick some of these up if they're not too damaged by animals. And got some of them that are still buggy. The deer are going to learn just walk outside the fence. And they'll get fed. But yeah, looking good for the Dayton this year. Really nice.